Some betrayals cut deeper than a knife. Chima, a young wealthy billionaire, gave a young girl everything: education, love, a future. But what she did in return left him broken and betrayed. Wait till you hear how it all ended. Chima wasn't just any street hustler. He started off with nothing, worked under a spare parts dealer in Lagos as an apprentice. But after his oga settled him, things started to turn around for him. Because of how hardworking he was, how he treated his customers with respect, and his sharp mind for business, he quickly moved from selling locally to running big international deals. He had no formal education, but his hustle and street smarts made him one of the most respected guys in the spare parts business. One fateful day, he set out on a trip to visit his mother in his village. He met Victoria, a humble, beautiful girl from a poor home. There was something about her that softened him. He saw potentials, innocence, and decided to change her life. Chima offered to sponsor Victoria through school, not just any school. He was able to get admission for her into the College of Nursing. He told her parents his intentions. "I want to marry your daughter, but let me help her stand on her own first." They agreed. They kept things pure until marriage. No intimacy. A couple of years later, Victoria graduated as a certified nurse, and shortly after that, Chima fulfilled his promise to marry her. They had a big, beautiful wedding, and through his connections, he even helped her to get a job at a government hospital. 6 months into their marriage, Victoria wasn't pregnant. Chima wasn't bothered. After all, these things take time, right? But Victoria started acting worried. She told Chima they needed to do a fertility test, just to be sure. She told her husband, and he agreed to go ahead with the medical test. They went to the hospital together, but Chima couldn't wait for the results because his customers kept calling him. Victoria told him not to worry. She would collect the result herself after work and explain everything to him, since she was also a nurse. That night, she returned home with a sober face. "Babe, you need to be strong. The doctor said you are impotent. You can't father a child." Chima froze. He felt sad hearing this heart-wrenching news. Being uneducated and deeply in love, Chima believed his wife. "She's a nurse. She understands these things," he told himself. Few months later, Victoria sat Chima down one quiet evening. She quietly held his hands, her eyes filled with concern and compassion. "I know this is hard," she said softly. "But instead of letting the world mock us for not having children, I spoke with a doctor friend of mine. He mentioned a discreet medical procedure that could help us conceive." Chima, already heartbroken by the news of his infertility, was eager at that point. He was ready to do anything. He nodded slowly, trusting his wife's judgment. What he didn't know was that this so-called procedure wasn't done in a hospital, and the man behind it wasn't just any doctor. He was Tony, Victoria's ex-lover. Under the guise of medical help, Tony started sleeping with Victoria, and each time, Chima paid him handsomely, believing he was funding a professional solution to their problem, completely unaware of the betrayal happening behind his back. As time passed, Victoria became pregnant, not just once, but again and again. Each child fathered by her ex-lover. With every pregnancy, her behavior shifted. She grew cold, hostile, and increasingly disrespectful. The once loving wife became verbally abusive, treating Chima like a stranger in his own home. Yet Chima stayed, not because he didn't feel the change, but because he believed his wife was helping him carry his secret, something too heavy to expose to the world, and beyond that, he loved her deeply. To him, marriage was a journey, and this was just the rough phase. He believed, or at least hoped, that they would pull through it together. A few years later, Chima traveled to Turkey for one of his business trips, but this trip turned out different due to unforeseen delays, logistic issues, and the supplier crisis. He couldn't return home as planned. The extended stay left him emotionally drained and lonely. One evening, while trying to unwind after a long day, he stepped into a quiet bar downtown. There, he met me, a soft-spoken woman with beautiful eyes. They talked, vibed, shared drinks, and for the first time in a long while, Chima felt seen. One thing led to another, and what was meant to be a casual conversation turned into a one-night stand. Something completely out of character for Chima. He told himself it was a moment of weakness, nothing more. But weeks after returning to Nigeria, Chima received a message from me. She was pregnant. Chima was confused. How is this even possible? He asked himself repeatedly. I can't father a child. I'm impotent. Troubled and overwhelmed, he opened up to his close friends about the shocking news. A woman he had a one-night stand with claimed she was pregnant for him. At first, they were surprised. Chima explained everything, the one-night encounter in Turkey, and most importantly, his long-lasting belief that he was infertile. He told them how years ago, after struggling to have children with his wife, they went for a medical test and the results came out saying he was impotent. She even told him it was a medical condition that could be transferred through unprotected sex, so they always used protection. Chima's friends were shocked, and one of them asked, "Are you saying you are not the father of your 3 kids at home?" Chima nodded helplessly. One of his friends suggested, "Let's not jump into conclusions. Wait until the baby is born and do a DNA test. That will clear everything up." Though still shaking, Chima agreed to wait. During this period, he was also in the process of relocating his entire family to the US. But with the unexpected development, he decided to put those plans on hold. His friends supported the decision. They all felt something wasn't right. Months later, when the baby was born, Chima returned to Turkey and insisted on a DNA test. The results came back 99.9% match. The child was his own. He was shocked and couldn't believe his eyes. He decided to use another hospital to be sure, and the results came out positive. He confronted the doctor, explaining that years ago, he had been told that he was infertile, but the doctor ran a fresh semen analysis and told him something that shook him further. "You are perfectly healthy and fertile. There's no issue at all." Chima was speechless. He immediately called his friends and told them everything. The pieces of the puzzle were finally coming together. As soon as he returned to Nigeria, he sat his friends down and told them everything, from the surprising DNA results in Turkey to the new semen analysis that confirmed he was never infertile. His friends were speechless. "Wait, you mean you were never impotent? Then how come?" Chima nodded, the weight of years of deception settling on his chest. "Exactly. I've been living a lie for 10 years. That evening, he went home and confronted Victoria. "Victoria," he said, his voice low and controlled, "I know everything, and it's best you start talking. I know I was never impotent. I know condoms don't stop infertility from being transferred, because infertility isn't contagious. So tell me the truth." At first, Victoria froze. Then the tears came in, the kind that weren't from guilt, but from being caught. "It was the devil," she whispered. Chima's heart broke all over again. With shaking hands, she confessed. She had changed the test results 10 years ago. She lied to him and made him believe he was the problem. just to cover up her betrayal. The doctor who supposedly helped her conceive wasn't just any doctor. It was Tony, her ex-boyfriend. The same man fathered all three of their children. Chima stared at her in disbelief. 10 solid years. 10 years of lies. 10 years of raising another man's children. 10 years of shame, manipulation and emotional abuse, all rooted in a lie. He had loved Victoria deeply, trained her through school, got her a job, fought for her, built a life around her, and she had stabbed him in the back with a smile. "I'm done," Chima said, rising to his feet. The relocation to the US is cancelled, and most importantly, this marriage is over. His friends stood by him. They too were disgusted by the depth of Victoria's betrayal. And in the middle of that emotional storm, a quiet light flickered in Chima's heart. He remembered May, the woman from Turkey, and the child they shared together. A child he never thought he could have. A child that exposed a decade of deceit. Chima made preparations for May and their son to come to Nigeria so that he can be close to them. He wasn't just trying to heal, he was starting all over again, this time with truth, peace, and a second chance at happiness. Now, the big question is, did Chima make the right decision? After everything he went through, was walking away from a 10-year marriage the best choice? Or should he have stayed for the sake of the children he raised as his own? What would you have done if you were in Chima's shoes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear from you. If you found this story interesting or emotional, don't forget to give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you love stories like this, make sure you tap the subscribe button for more. Bye and see you in the next one.